You know, we've been taking a virtual tour of the beautiful Waterford Treasures and all the, indeed, treasures that are contained within over the last little while. And I love the stories behind them as well. And even though it's a bank holiday Monday, he still joined us on the line, and that's Eamonn McEneaney of Waterford Treasures.
Ali.
Great to hear you, Eamonn.
You too. Good morning.
Happy Easter to you and yours.
Yeah, many happy returns to you, Ollie, and all your family.
Great stuff. So what are you going to be looking at us today?
Today we're going to be looking at Thomas Francis Meagher. I suppose he's so important in Waterford history, indeed Irish history. There's a whole room in the Bishop's Palace Museum dedicated to him, and of course, as everybody knows, he was born in the Granville Hotel. There's a quay called after him, Meagher Quay, and of course a lovely equestrian statue outside Reginald's Tower. As a young man, he was involved in politics, and he disagreed, of course, with O'Connell. O'Connell had gotten Catholic emancipation and then was hoping for a parliament to be set up in Dublin like was there in the late 18th century, that would be a free independent parliament. O'Connell, of course, wanted to achieve this by non-violence, and Meagher and a lot of his young men surrounding him were willing to go into revolution, and the movement split then. The movement to look for a parliament back in Dublin split, I suppose, centred around a famous speech that Meagher gave, where he said, "Abhor not the sword." So he meant, you know, if we don't get a parliament in Ireland by peaceful means, we should do it by revolutionary means. And then, of course, O'Connell and he split. Meagher then went off to France, and of course, as everybody knows, he brought back the tricolour to Ireland. It's first flown from the Mall here in Waterford, which is a great boast for Waterford City.
Do you know, isn't that something very prestigious in itself?
Oh yeah, it's huge. Yeah,
really,
it's our iconic symbol of Ireland. And then, of course, he was involved in the 1848 rebellion, was arrested from where the Sabai restaurant is there in the Mall, just opposite the Bishop's Palace, and he was brought to prison. And I'll read a little bit of a letter he wrote when he was leaving that prison in exile, being exiled because he was found guilty, of course, of revolution, treason essentially, and he was transported to Australia, to Van Diemen's Land, from where he escaped, and went to America and became involved in the American Civil War. And of course he's very famous over there as Brigadier General Meagher, and known as Meagher of the Sword. And we've got a lot of material from America, including the earliest book, the original copy of his life story, his biography. And his widow sent all his memorabilia back here to Ireland in 1886, and it's a great thing to have. But what's particularly interesting about him is, apart from his work in the American Civil War, he made the Irish in America, I suppose, feel, know that if you come into a country, your allegiance is to that country first. You're still Irish, but you're Irish American, rather. You're American first, and then you're Irish. And I suppose it's a way of looking at, these are immigrants into America, and he wanted to make them identify themselves with America. And of course, he was pallbearer at Lincoln's funeral. He was made, he was highly respected, and he was, of course, made acting governor of Montana. But one of the lovely things, we have 3 swords belong to him. They're beautiful. They're American Civil War swords. One of them's made by Tiffany's in New York. So it's kind of a dress sword. It's a very fancy sword. But a letter he wrote, the last letter he wrote in Ireland, is very interesting. It's kind of, for the times we're going through, about people getting maybe a little bit depressed and fed up about what's happening in the country. And he says that never was a country so utterly downcast, yet I do not and I could not despair for her regeneration. Nations do not die in a day. They live and are reckoned by generations. They encompass centuries. Their vitality is inextinguishable. Their sufferings are sometimes terrible, but they survive the deadliest of plagues, the red inundations of the battlefield, and the storms which topple pyramids, the fires which extinguish the wealth which is melted down, and the earthquakes which engulf cities and buries people. And then I suppose for the people who were been stuck indoors, he says, because remember, he was going into exile, he couldn't meet any of his friends.
Indeed.
He's been in prison. Basically, it's house arrest now. He was a middle-class man, so he wouldn't have been what we'd know as a prison. Thus too shall Ireland survive all her sufferings, her errors and her disasters, and rear one day a triumphal arch, high above the wreck and the wilderness of the past. This is my sincere faith. It is this that elates me at this moment. It is this in my weary exile will make me forget my solitude, forget my privations, forget all the happiness that I have sacrificed, and change what would otherwise be a weary bondage into a tranquil, happy dream. I think it's an absolutely wonderful letter. It's a real can-do letter, and one of optimism.
Very pertinent words in the time we're living in, Eamonn.
Indeed. And that letter was given to us by Senator Mark Daly about 10 or 12 years ago now. He very generously, he acquired it at the height of the Celtic Tiger at a huge cost to him, and he very generously gave it to the museum. And of course, the museum, that's the byword for the museum, really. It's just people's generosity, so it's a wonderful letter, and
fantastic.
It's on display with all the other wonderful pieces of memorabilia of Thomas Francis Meagher, great Irishman.
And people can see this firsthand after this strange time is over, please God.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Two last questions, Eamon. The Granville, you mentioned where he was born. Was that a private residence then?
It was. His dad, actually, people say he came back to Waterford, and I fall into the same thing. His dad actually was born in Newfoundland, and of course Newfoundland had great trade. His grandfather was from Tipperary. His grandfather went to Newfoundland as a tailor, married 2 widow women, and the first one died. She had a lot of money, and he married another lady with a lot of money, so he became a great dealer in chips and shipping and made a fortune basically. And his son then, Thomas Meagher, came here, and a great charitable man, and he was elected the first Catholic mayor of Waterford.
Wow.
But I suppose, like a lot of fathers and sons, the father was very conservative. He's the member of Parliament for Waterford, so imagine the mortification when your son goes into rebellion, against the state at the time. So he's a fascinating man. The family is fascinating, and a lot has been written on Thomas Francis Meagher and on the father, Thomas Meagher. Dr. Eugene Broderick, who gives lectures here in the museum, is actually writing a biography of the father, now Thomas Meagher.
Very interesting character. And lastly, do we really know what happened to him in terms of his death? Because that seems to be shrouded in mystery.
Yes, he died. He fell off a riverboat up on the Missouri. I think
literally a steamboat.
On a steamboat. In 1867. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories. Anti-Catholic groupings in America pushed him off. It may have been something very, very simple that he may have stepped.
Just tripped, whatever else.
Yeah, just tripped or fell overboard, and some people say his body was found, and other people say it wasn't found. And
gosh, that's mysterious.
There's all sorts of stories about him. Yeah.
Well,
he was a great man.
A really interesting chapter yet again. So, Eamonn McEneaney of Waterford Treasures, we thank you. And listen, thank you for taking time out, particularly on this Bank Holiday Monday. So we really appreciate that. Happy Easter again to you and yours, Eamonn.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.